All right, coaches, I want to specifically talk to you today about possibilities, specifically 26 ways that you could be making money as a coach. Now, as I go through this list, you need to know I'm going to start off with the basics, some things you probably are already thinking, but I'm going to kind of clarify a few things in terms of how you should do them and how you shouldn't do them, or when and when not to do them. And then as I go through this list, you're going to notice that these ideas get bigger and maybe a little bit scarier. And as that happens, I want you to pay attention, because this is a really good clue as to where your money mindset or where your money ceiling is. And so as you go through this list, if you find yourself getting triggered, getting stuck, thinking, no way, I can't possibly do that, that's crazy, that's too scary, that's too big, that's not possible, whatever it is, I want you to notice where it's happening, because that's going to show you where you get to work on your money mindset. Sound good? So let's jump into 26 ways that you could be making money as a coach. Okay, the first way that you're probably already making money as a coach is through one-on-one coaching. Obviously, we have to add this to the list. However, I want you to think about something. I want you to remember that 6-figure, 7-figure, 8-figure, 9-figure coaches are still doing one-on-one coaching. Why is that? Because when you can get your boots on the ground with people, individuals, and work deeply, intimately with one person, you're going to have a much better understanding of every other person you need to serve. So I want you to think of one-on-one coaching not just as your starting point, but as your home base. No matter what happens in your coaching over the next couple years, you're going to continue to come back to some level, some amount of one-on-one coaching. The second way that you could be making money as a coach is through small group coaching. This is where you take a small group of people, usually under 10. In fact, when you're first getting started, I recommend it's under 5 people, and you work them towards a similar goal. So these are all people who want the same outcome, and you're learning how to coach them towards it together. This is a very different skill set than working one-on-one with someone, and so it's something I recommend you do start out small, but you definitely get into the process of doing as soon as possible, because it is going to help you with other ideas later on. Okay, number 3 is in-person trainings. In-person trainings is where you are taking a group of people, might be small, might be large, through something like a workshop. I want you to think of an in-person training as just being like an afternoon versus something longer. Now, again, the skills that are going to be involved in one-on-one coaching versus small group coaching over the long run versus a short training are very different. And I recommend when you're doing your first short training that you do it in person. You're not doing something like a webinar, because the interaction, the feedback that you're going to get is going to allow you to make adjustments in real time. And again, it's going to give you that insight into your people and their needs so that you really understand how it is that you can support them. This is what helps you to become a really great coach, getting really personal with people. So this is why I recommend doing things like this before you start scaling into some of these bigger things we're going to talk about in this list of 26 ways you can make money as a coach. Number 4 is online trainings. Now, this is where you take what you were doing in person and you move it online. So something like a webinar or maybe a Zoom workshop. Again, this is with a group, but you maybe are not going to have as much feedback, and you may be kind of vying for attention. So again, it's a different skill set. I want you to think of these online trainings as different than courses. I want you to think of them as short term and a quick immediate goal. Number 5 on the list of ways to make money as a coach is courses. And obviously this one is really popular right now, meaning everybody's talking about it, everybody's teaching about it, but that doesn't mean everybody should be doing it. Courses are amazing, and everybody should hopefully be getting to that point of doing it, but you really got to know your audience. You really got to know how to teach to a course instead of a person, right? You got to know how to take them step by step through a process, and that really comes through that hands-on work that you're doing with an individual or with groups of people. The more experience you have with those things, the better your course is going to be. So if you can delay the satisfaction of a course as long as possible, really work in depth with people. Once you have a process that's working, you're getting lots of great feedback, you're able to get people results, then turn that process into a course. Number 6 is downloadables, which is different than a course. A downloadable is a quick one-off something that somebody can purchase, download, and get a quick win from. So consider if you're a health coach, maybe you can put together meal plans. If you're a fitness coach, maybe you're putting together fitness plans. Something simple, easy, generally inexpensive that somebody can get quick results from. You may even want to test these out before you do a course. They make great bonuses to courses as well. Now, the seventh way that coaches are making money from their business is through something called tripwires. Tripwires is where you take something like those downloadables and you put it on the tail end of something else. So I want you to think of, for instance, if you get a freebie, on the thank you page of that freebie, maybe it's going to offer a small, inexpensive item, a course, a product, something like that. If they purchase your big signature course, maybe there's a bonus tripwire at the end where it goes to a small, short, maybe long thank you page that's offering some additional add-on. I like to think of tripwires a little bit like impulse buys at the grocery store, except hopefully yours are not just going in the junk drawer. They're actually something that somebody wants. It's going to solve a problem and it's going to get them those quick wins. This is a really great revenue stream because it's something you can set up on the tail end of just about everything you offer. Anytime somebody's signing up for something with you, that thank you page can lead to an inexpensive item, and that inexpensive item could just be passively creating you income. So as soon as you have the ability to set up a tripwire, I would start testing one right away to figure out what's going to work for you. All right, we've covered a lot of the basics so far. Drop me a comment and let me know which of these you're already implementing, or just of the ones we've covered so far, which one do you want to be working on next? Also, make sure you stick around to the end because I have a free download for you that's going to show you the 7 scaling habits to help you scale your coaching business to 6 or 7 figures in as little as 6 to 12 months. Okay, number 8. We're talking about ad revenue, and a really great example of that is this channel or many other channels on YouTube. We're creating content anyway for our viewers, right? But now YouTube is actually monetizing our videos and giving us an additional revenue stream. So this isn't right for every business, and if you check out one of these corners for a video I did, I'll explain how much I make from it and give you some clues as to whether or not it's going to be worth it for you. You don't just have to do this through YouTube. You can also do this through blog revenue. There's other ways to bring in revenue, but it is a great way to just add an extra revenue stream that potentially could increase to something pretty substantial over time. The 9th way that you could be making money as a coach is through sponsors. You could have something like an Instagram sponsor where there's a product or service that you really love and they pay you to promote it on your Instagram channel. You could do the same thing with a YouTube channel. You could do the same thing with a Facebook post. You could do the same thing with a blog post, with a newsletter to your list. There's a lot of different ways that you can do this. And as you grow, you're going to have people come to you and offer this up to you. My recommendation to you is that you're very, very picky about this. I want you to align with people or companies that you really believe in, that are a good fit for your message, that are a good fit for your people and the needs that you help them solve. If it's not a good fit, it's just going to erode your brand and not support your brand. So no amount of money is going to be worth that. All right, number 10 is affiliate marketing. You can see great examples of affiliate marketing from somebody like Denise Duffield-Thomas or any other coach who promotes B-School once a year. I happen to know that a lot of those coaches are making multiple 6 figures, sometimes 7 figures, just from being an affiliate for that course. So if there's a course that you love that really aligns with you, this can be a great revenue stream, especially if it's something that is kind of a sister niche to what you do. It doesn't necessarily overlap with what you do, but it does complement it very well. Okay, number 11 on my list of ways to make money as a coach is direct sales. This one is tricky. You need to make sure that it matches your company, that it matches your branding, that it's in alignment with what you're here to do. But you can see a great example of this in what I do with doTERRA essential oils. I teach emotional aromatherapy as a way to do mindset work or make that work easier. Because of this, it's a really natural fit for me to teach it and to offer it. Now, I am not the only coach that has done this. If you know Kate Northrup, she's an amazing author. She's an amazing coach. She actually started off with USANA. So this is something that you can consider doing as part of your coaching business or separate to your coaching business, which I think is how she did it. Now, again, this isn't the right fit for everybody. You need to make sure that the product that you're promoting aligns with what you do, who you are, and the people that you're serving. Okay, the 12th way that you can make money as a coach is through memberships. And I want you to notice how far down the list memberships actually are. This is something that you probably will not want to do until you have a fairly substantial sized audience. And the reason for this is just numbers. You need to have a pretty good audience to be able to sustain the turnover rate that a membership will create. You also need to have the bandwidth, and you need to have probably the team to be able to sustain the level of output that you're going to be creating for a membership. You may be creating monthly content, you may need to do monthly calls, and all those things take more resources, more time, more energy. Number 13 is products. Now, I specifically want you to think about drop shipping products to start off with, because this is going to make your life so much easier. So when you think about drop shipping products, this could be t-shirts, branded t-shirts, this could be journals, notebooks, mugs, any sort of product that is easy to print on demand and ships directly from the printer. This means not a lot of overhead from you, not a lot of headache from you. It's something you can promote and people order on demand. This could probably actually be lower on the list, but I put it a little bit later because generally you're going to want to have an audience. You're going to want to have a movement. You're going to want to have something like a statement, a phrase, a quote, something that people believe in and want to actually wear or use or see on a day-to-day basis. So even though you may have the ideas now, make sure you question, do I have the audience to be able to really start promoting this now? Number 14 is branded products. And I put this different from drop shipping because this is where you're going to get a little bit more specific. This is where instead of just print on demand, you're probably going to be ordering something in mass, you're going to be creating something in mass, and then selling it out. So this could be, maybe you design your own journal, your own notebook, maybe you design your own t-shirt style, something where it's really going to require you to put in a lot more time and effort, work more closely with the manufacturer, and find somebody who can really create what it is that you're wanting to sell. And you're the only person who's selling this thing. Now, there are a lot of examples of coaches who do this. Brendan Burchard has his own journal. Rachel Hollis has her own journal. There are a lot of people who will get into this level of product creation. But again, it's something that you generally are going to do when you've got a bigger team, you've got more resources available to you, and you have a bigger audience to justify the upfront costs. Number 15 is books. Now again, this could potentially go lower on the list, but you tend to see books that do really well once they have a big enough audience to create a little bit of a movement, some buzz around it, and get that book being promoted to different audiences. A lot of coaches are also using books now as marketing. So instead of trying to make money from their books, they create a book that leads somebody to a course or that leads somebody to an opt-in, which leads them to some sort of sale. So think of books both as a revenue stream, a money generator, as well as a future money generator, because it's going to do some of your marketing for you, especially if you can write a really good book that's able to take off. Okay, how you doing so far? Have any of these ideas totally freaked you out yet? Because if so, we're now going to get into some really high level stuff. Number 16 on the list would be apps. Obviously, apps are really popular. How could they fit in your business? You can see how Tony Robbins uses his apps to be able to offer his trainings, his courses, some of them free and some of them paid. Maybe if you're a health coach, you can do how-to videos, cooking classes. If you're a fitness coach, maybe you can do a subscription, a membership, so that people can actually get the exercises directly to their phone. If this is something you think your audience would love and you can get creative with how you're providing that information to them, I highly recommend looking into it. You don't necessarily have to build this from scratch yourself, especially nowadays. Things are getting so much more automated and so much easier. You may be able to find an app template of sorts that you can plug your content into. Number 17 on the list is software. And I know you're probably thinking, I'm not a software company. Why would I offer software? Because it's a great revenue stream for coaches. Grace Lever has done this really well. She realized that her audience, which is coaches, consultants, course creators, needed a simple way to host their course that was inexpensive. So she had her team develop a software that allows you to host your course on your website. This was something that was simple for her to do, and it created a revenue stream that makes sense. So you may find that there's something in your business in the future that you can provide to people, maybe something you needed to create for yourself that you can turn around and give to other people. No, you're not a software company, but yeah, maybe as your business expands, you will have a wing of your business that is into software. All right, before we move on, drop me a comment, let me know you're still with me, and let me know which of these that we've listed so far you're actually interested in. Number 18, very low on this list, is masterminds. And the reason that it's low on this list is that a lot of people try to jump to a mastermind before they really have the authority to be able to do so. The real genius of a mastermind, a really good mastermind, is going to happen when you have become less available in your business. You're doing less one-on-one, you are showing up less and less in your programs, and you're really outsourcing a lot of that stuff, but you want to bring in the higher level people and continue to work closely with them. That's when a mastermind is really going to make sense. So this is probably an idea you've already heard of. It's probably something you've already thought of, but are you ready to do it? Maybe not. I tend to find the best masterminds are coming from people who are like 5, 10, 15 steps ahead of the people that they're teaching. They're already making 7, 8, maybe 9 figures, and then they're bringing together an inner circle to be able to coach them to do the same thing. Number 19 is speaking. And actually, speaking can go way at the top of this list. You don't need a big audience. You don't need a lot of skill to be able to get in and start speaking. Rachel Hollis talked about this. She went around speaking to senior citizen homes just to get her feet wet, just to learn the skill and to be able to gain the traction and slowly work her way up to these tens of thousands of people audiences. However, it's lower on this list because if you actually want to make money as a speaker, you probably need to have the authority, you need to have a bigger audience, you need to have people who are excited to see you speak, and that generally takes some time to get there. Number 20 would be retreats. Retreats are going to be great for intimate settings. So I want you to think about if you're a yoga instructor, if you're a health coach, a teacher of some sort, and you can bring people together for an immersive experience that's generally a little bit more intimate. Now, intimate could vary anywhere from 10 people to 100 people to 500 people, and that could still be considered a retreat. Obviously, this is something you do when you've got the audience to sustain it. So if you can get 10 people together for a retreat, that can be an amazing revenue stream for you. Just know that the logistics and the cost that can go into retreats can either be really, really low depending on how you create it, or really, really high. And so you really need to make sure that you're ready and that you are well prepared for what it's going to take, and that you're doing what you can do to learn how to put on a great retreat and actually make a profit from it. Number 21 would be conferences. And you probably see these from Rachel Hollis, from Brendon Burchard, from Tony Robbins. As your audience grows, you can command a bigger and bigger arena. And so you can start to put together your own conferences. Generally, these are going to be not just a short speaking event, but a weekend, maybe even a week, where you're taking people in depth and training them. Now, again, this usually isn't just you. You usually have people, if you look at these retreats, they have a team of people putting these on, not just logistics behind the scenes, but even people working with people in the audience. That way, the people are getting the best that they can get. Now, it doesn't have to be that way. It could just be you on the stage the entire time. Obviously, you're probably still going to need some logistical people behind the scenes, but this can be an awesome way to start expanding your reach, create a massive amount of income in a very short amount of time. Number 22 would be certification programs. If you have a particular process and you're good at it and you can teach other coaches how to do it and how to help other people get results, you can certify them. This can be an amazing revenue stream, and Brooke Castillo is an amazing example of this. I think she makes at least $1 million a year, if not more, just from her certification programs alone. Number 23 is outsourcing. Yeah, so you can actually outsource your own people to work for other people. And Grace Lever, again, is a great example of this. She noticed that the people in her audience needed people to be able to help them. They needed VAs or tech assistants or just anyone that they could outsource to, but they didn't necessarily have the money. They didn't necessarily have the time to train them. And so she put together a team of outsourcers, people who would go in and do the work for these people. So now they are paying her, she's paying the VAs or the assistants, and that business owner is getting the service. This is a great revenue stream for her, and it could potentially be a good revenue stream for you too, depending on your business. Okay, if you thought the last few were big, this is where I'm probably gonna lose you. This is where you're probably gonna start thinking, I couldn't possibly do that. That's way too extreme. That's way too much. But that right there is what's going to limit you from reaching your fullest potential, whatever that fullest potential is. I want you to learn to keep your mind open to ideas so that you can grasp them when they come. So number 24 is a magazine. I know you're like, why would I want a magazine? Because it's a revenue stream, because it's a great way to teach people, because it's a great way to outsource information to other people on your team or bring in more team members to teach others. Oprah has a magazine, right? There are a lot of ways that you could potentially incorporate this into your business, but this is really going to come when you are in a leadership position in your niche. This is when your business has grown to such a capacity that you are really looked up to by others in your industry, not just your clients or customers. Number 25 is a TV show. Mel Robbins just came out with a TV show last year. Here she was. I think she started off coaching and then speaking and then authors and then more speaking. And now she has an amazing TV show helping other people, still coaching. So yes, this is something that you could potentially do for yourself. Can you see yourself standing on a stage, speaking to a live audience, coaching one-on-one in front of that live audience, or some other aspect of that? Maybe you're a health coach, a fitness coach. Maybe you're gonna have a TV show around how to do those things. This is when you start to reach a much broader audience. This is when you start going outside of your niche and you start getting into audiences that maybe have never heard of you before, but you're able to really expand what you're able to do because of it. And then number 26 is a documentary. Tony Robbins has done it. Rachel Hollis has done it, and I'm just waiting to see who else does it because it's an amazing marketing tool. Again, I'm sure they made some money from those episodes. I think Rachel Hollis is on Amazon Prime and Tony Robbins is on Netflix, and I'm sure they got paid for those things. But even if they didn't, it's a great way to build their authority. It's a great way to sell what it is that they're showing or exemplifying in those documentaries. So is this something that you could do for yourself? Yes. Eventually, you could get to that point if you so desire. Now, here's the thing. Where you are right now, you probably don't desire much more than maybe like 5 or 10 steps above you. But I want you to remember that as you start to climb that ladder, when you get to that 10th step, the thing that you desire most right now, all these other things are going to start to look within reach, right? You're going to be so much closer to all those other things. But the only way you're going to get there is if you manage the mindset that you have right now. Not only do you need to be managing your mindset, you also need to be managing your habits. There are habits in your mindset, there are habits in your business, there are habits in the way that you're approaching things in your business that are all going to dictate whether or not you can scale your business, whether that's scaling it to 6 figures or 7 or 8. There are a collection of habits that you need to make sure that you are mastering. I have a free PDF. If you want to learn what those habits are, you can check out the link below. It will walk you through the most important things. I call these the 7 scaling habits for coaches to be able to scale to 6 or 7 figures. Not only will it walk you through these habits, but it'll give you a couple exercises to help you figure out how to address each habit. Again, you can find the link for it in the description below or up above my head. And if you're brand new here, you should know my name is Tara Wagner. I'm a belief breakthrough coach. I help female entrepreneurs get their heads, their hearts, and their habits in the right place so they can crush their goals not their soul. And if that sounds like your jam, be sure to subscribe, hit the bell so you never miss a video. Give this one a thumbs up if you found it helpful. Leave me a comment letting me know which of these things you're most excited about and which one you're most terrified of. And then check out these next videos on money mindset. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Jump, jump, jump around. It's good to have agile feet. Bleh.